All right, so the Bulldogs finished off the regular season in a fashion that really doesn't inspire much confidence going into the tournament in Vegas. I'll get to it playing in a moment, just after I finished recapping the games. This past Tuesday, they on senior night per se, though I don't know if Hybrider and Cameron Faust are what I'd call seniors. You know, they didn't spend 4 years or so with Fresno State, but they were honored nonetheless, and they defeated San Jose State fairly easily, 82-68, which you figured they should. In his last game in the Stamont Center, Hybrider scored 20 points. Faust had 12.6 rebounds. Wahlberg said, and I quote, "So happy, very proud. It's difficult. It's a different time now, NIL, portal, and all that. But having these two seniors obviously want to go out and win on your last home game. I thought they had very nice games for us. I'll talk more about Vance when I recap the season. But to me, it feels like he's making a lot of excuses. Yeah, the two seniors combined for 6 of the Bulldogs, 11 frees. I mean, San Jose State never really had much of a chance to win this game. The closest they got, I believe, was like 23-21. That was kind of it. At halftime, they were up 45-34. And that was really it. They were in control. I mean, the Spartan players did fuss a lot. I have no idea why they talked so much smack. But I guess being Nevada does that for you. I mean, that is a better win than the Bulldogs have had all year. But nevertheless, the Spartans' second half got like 56-51. Bulldogs, a Manny free, put them back 63-53, 12 minutes left. San Jose State tried for a comeback, making it 63-65. But again, the Bulldogs with Hybrina, Faust, and Wilson Jack just finished them off. Finished with 11-24 clip from 3-point range. The Spartans were 5 of 22. This was also the Bulldogs' 11th all-time victory over San Jose State. And sweeping the Spartans in any sport is something that a Bulldog fan should enjoy and celebrate, regardless of wherever the two athletic programs are. I mean, this is, if nothing else, they did not do this last year for basketball. So that is an improvement. And if you want to keep playing San Jose State, I'm sure you know by now that we're playing them in football. We signed a contract. Well, we signed a 2-year contract with San Jose State for basketball. Next year, we're going to go up there. The following year, they're going to come here. So we aren't quite done with them yet. And that might be the last game of the year, because against Grand Canyon, that was all she wrote, and it was very quickly done. The Bulldogs lost 85-60, and somehow it felt worse. They did have Kocheva back. He had a strep throat against San Jose State, but they lost Jack Manny. I mean, the injury's been really bad this year. I think I've talked about them at some point, and I will go over that more after the regular season is done. We're almost done there, and I want to just that was the cat. Sorry about that. She wanted to go out. But yeah, right now the Bulldogs are shorthanded. They're going to have 9 players going into the Mountain West tournament. And it really did reflect that. They did start off strong. They got to leads of 9-5, 13-8, thanks to Reber and Jack. The last lead they had from Umbane was 18-15. And after that, GCU was like, okay, the hell with this. You know, we're playing for something and we're going to show it. And they overwhelmed us with a 26-4 run. And that was kind of all she wrote. We were down 44-29 at halftime, and that was, you knew it wasn't going to get any better. The closest we got was 16 points. The rest of the way, Hybrina, he did what he did, try to get us back. So did Jock and so forth. Duke, he finally came in. Only had 11 points all year long. He's been a major disappointment. You hear about how athletic he is, but he has done absolutely nothing. I mean, the Bulldogs are just overwhelmed by Grand Canyon. Just period in this story. That bench was outscored by 36-13. I mean, Wahlberg, his biggest thing when you read this is he just wanted to get out healthy, and I'll read a quote from him. He said, "We came out healthy, which is good. Doesn't look doesn't look good for Zion to play in the Mountain West tournament. Jacques should be back, no doubt about that. That gives you a little more depth." Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have more depth, but we're not a threat to anybody who's an upper echelon in the Mountain West. And just let me finish out how the Bulldogs finished the regular season. They finished 13-18 overall, 7-12 in conference play. They finished 10th out of 12. So, and Grand Canyon, they were playing for a third place tie to get in that first round bye, and they got it with the win over Fresno State. So, what happens now? Well, now you're going to play Colorado State this Wednesday at 6 o'clock on the Mountain West stream. That is a team that the Bulldogs did beat in the regular season, so in theory it can happen. But before I talk more about that, let me just go over the pool bracket on the Fresno State side. Doesn't really matter what the other side is. The winner of the Fresno State-Colorado State game will play San Diego State. The winner of that game will play whoever comes out, the Boise State-San Jose State, Boise State-New Mexico, and so forth. Now, the Bulldogs don't have a chance to make a run. They don't have the depth. They don't have that type of play. I mean, if Jean Goy just goes crazy on you, they can beat Colorado State, but we saw they look like San Diego State when they were relatively healthier with Stickman. And it was not pretty. It was ugly. It was disgusting. I mean, that really is going to be all she wrote. And probably this by Saturday at the latest, I'll be able to do a recap on the season and what I think they need to go forward. But yeah, you have beaten the Rams before. You should have beat them twice. Or at least you had a double-digit lead on them on the home floor. It's going to be at Thompson Maggot. That's at UNLV's place. So if you want to go to Vegas for a quick trip, go for it. Let me just talk about the Rams real quick, how they've done since the Bulldogs beat them. Rams finished 20-11 regular season, 11-9 in conference play. They lost to they beat Air Force. They beat San Diego State in the year. They won a game at New Mexico, which clinched the regular season title, at least a share for Utah State. So go Pack right there in the moment. Pack team won the regular season conference title there. They've been averaging they have 4 players averaging double-doubles, 7 players total scoring at least 8.8. Kyle Jorgensen averages 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Richard Steiner averages a team high 12.3 points a game, but he's scoring 15 points over the last 8 games. Josh Pasquale, he's injured for them. 6'3" Mars transfer. He averages 10 points a game. They got Illinois Traveler Coy Booth, 18.9 points, 7 rebounds a game. And, they look like they're going to be more or less healthy. I mean, they only have one significant injury. Guy Pasquale hasn't played since the 14th. They won the tournament last year, Colorado State, with a different coach. The Bulldogs, on the other hand, Zion Collins might come back. He's a long shot. Maybe he forces himself to do so. Bulldogs have at least 8 players to go. If he doesn't, I don't think Collins really is that big of a deal. As I said before, losing Collins, he's not going to be. If he's back in there, they need him to beat Colorado State. They had a big lead at him in Moby Arena. The Bulldogs are more or less the same now. And if he is there and they do beat Colorado State, do they beat San Diego State? I don't think so. I don't think if Collins is there, that happens. But we'll see what happens. Jack Manny, he had a sprained ankle that sidelined him against Grand Canyon. But it's looking like he's going to try and play. That says to me the Grand Canyon game. Wahlberg knew it was going to be a loss and didn't want anybody more to get hurt. It's a little disappointing to see a coach think that way. It's a little disappointing to see that this is where we're at, but it is. Gochever came back. He had a strip probe that kept him out of the San Jose State game. Didn't need him. I've seen that maybe right now we're out without Douglas Jr., without Stickman, without Zumi, without Jenkins. Season ending at 4 season injuries. They might play Duke more just because they have to. I mean, if not now, then wherever. You've been hearing for years how athletic he is, how they just get him on the court. So maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's the guy that can get him over the edge and get this one last win that can look like you're really having some momentum. They've lost in this opening round game last couple years, so you really want to get that to show that you're advancing into the Pac-12, that you are winning, that you're getting better. Like I said, Wahlberg is probably going to be back next year, regardless of how you feel about it. I'll talk more about that in the last game. Why? In terms of the odd makers, Bulldogs are 6.5 underdog. The over-under set scores at 14.5 points. So the projected score is about 75-63 in favor of the Rams. And that sounds about right based on what we see when these two teams play. Analytics overall gives us about 24% chance to win if you want to see them. Last time the Bulldogs won a Mountain West tournament was in early 2024. They beat Wyoming 77-73. They got bounced 87-75 to Utah State. But we've not advanced out of the quarterfinal round since 2019. All right, that was just that is the round that would happen on a first day the Bulldogs would advance. So it's been a very long time. In fact, we've only advanced outside the semifinal once in the Mountain West when we won the whole thing in 2016. So we are 9-12 overall. So that I guess is one reason why we're 6-1 done. So we're looking forward to getting out of this conference and getting out of this tournament. Hopefully in the pack it'll be better. I don't think there'll be one last run on the way out of here. I think we're going to lose, or at least it'll be to a fellow pack member, not to a Mountain West team that's being stuck behind, not to UNLV or New Mexico or any of these other fans that would be just like, we're going to lose to a conference mate. Okay, big deal, but we'll see what happens. I mean, going to be a busy week overall for Bulldog sports. You got this tournament going on. You've got the women's, they got knocked out in basketball, so we've got water polo. We have some, spring outdoor sports, but the baseball and softball teams are about to start their conference play, both at home. So you should be, unless the basketball team just goes on a miraculous run, which we all would want to happen, don't think it will, but you got a chance to go home and make a big difference to those two sports because they got home openers against two big teams, Utah State with softball and Nevada at home for Fresno State. Talk more about that when I recap the Arizona series. That was really rough. But overall, if you're a Bulldog fan, turn it on. It gets on the Mountain West video feed. Not on CBS Sports Net yet, but we'll see what happens. Go Dogs.